tuned in to Mind Health Matters with Monique Elliott in association with the Honey Lifestyle Network, bringing you informative information for daily living.
Hello and welcome to Mind Health Matters. I am your host, Monique Elliott, and I am so excited to be here with you today. We are going to learn and explore the importance of our mental health and wellness. We're going to take it from different perspectives, and I encourage you to get a notebook or get a journal. Absolutely use your phone if you need to. We're going to do tips today on how to parent with excitement, but also reality. Today, I have a guest with me. I've known her all her life, and she is the star of Preacher's Daughters Season 2. Her name is Tori Elliott, and I'm so excited and happy to have her with us. But before we get to Tori, I want to share three things. And I think it's vital that we understand with mind health, there are beliefs or myths that are often said out there about why we need or don't need to get mental health or get well with mind health. For parenting, the number one is you can do it alone. You don't need anybody to tell you how to parent. You should know the instructions when a child comes. Heck, you should know what to do when they get older, when they're in their teens. That is a myth, and we're going to talk about that today. The second one is that you need to be a superwoman or that you need to be a super father, and that there are no mistakes when it comes to raising our children. You know, that's a lot of pressure on a person when they're trying to do their best because ultimately we're wanting just to love our children. Then the third myth of that is that they'll be perfect. Our children will do everything we ask them to do. They'll never make a mistake. We will just be able to sit there and love on them and never get frustrated. I need us to be real. When we meet here together, it's real. We're going to talk about how needing self care, how taking time to be with others that are not just your children, how we need that tribe to come together so that we can be healthy, so that our anxieties are low, so that our depression is low or even non existent. So at this time, I'm going to welcome our guest, Victoria Keeling. Victoria, welcome.
Hi.
Hi, honey. I'm just appreciate you taking the time out. You know, when you were on Preacher's Daughters, honey, you didn't have any kids.
Sure didn't it?
And that's a lot different.
Yes.
That's a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
And I often say, and you've heard me say this many times, wait till you have your own kids.
Yes.
Okay. So what did that mean to you?
Well, before I had kids, when you say wait till you have your own kids, I didn't imagine it would be like the parenting side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm like, okay, whatever that means, like, yeah, wait till I have my own kids, I'm gonna do differently. But now that I'm a parent, it's like, I parent like my mama sometimes. Like, I can't even believe it. So it's crazy because it's like, oh my gosh, I'm my mother.
And you know what? What I want to tell you, love, is that some things we did were good,
Mm-hmm.
but some things they weren't the best. And so I encourage even all of you out there, you need to write a list of the things that your parents did that you appreciated and that you felt comfortable with. And then also a list of those things that you said probably when you were a kid, I'll never do that.
Right.
Write a list about that because it helps you to balance and see what are those traditions? What are those parenting styles that I'm going to continue? And what are those I may need to leave out?
Right.
So, Victoria, when you had your first child, when you had your baby girl, what were some things that were maybe overwhelming at first?
Well, first of all, when she came out, I felt bad because I was like, Jesus, you got 1 hour to fix this, because she was hideous. And I was like, I'm a bad mother already. It's been 2 seconds and I don't want my baby looking
No,
like this.
that
So
baby is precious. And
no. Like, I see movies, and they like cry. They're like, oh, I'm a mother. I love my baby so much. That was not the case for me. When she came out and I held her, I was like, you're going back in to cook a little more. So
that's because that little cone head, honey, they had to travel a long way.
Yeah,
yes.
But yeah, like the first few days, like having anxiety and everything, you get scared that you're not good enough, you're gonna mess up, and postpartum is real.
Yes.
I said postpartum.
That's
sorry.
okay. Postpartum depression is real.
Yes.
And part of that is you have hormone changes. But then also we have expectations of how our children are going to be, even from the womb. We have expectations of even how we're going to be as moms. And so I say, so importantly, have grace on yourself. You got to be kind to yourself. And also, honey, some of that is from not getting sleep.
Yeah.
You are sleep deprived. I want to share this with you. You're often sleep deprived, everyone. And so what happens is you're trying to give the baby the bottle, or you're trying to breastfeed the baby, whatever that was going on, and you don't have enough rest. It's serious though. And if needed for your mind health, it's okay, and it was okay to get counseling or even to talk to someone about your postpartum depression.
Yes, and like I remember there's a time when I was just so overwhelmed, with the baby, and I would call you, and you'd be like, "Okay, just walk away," and you would come get her, because I'd just be like, "When is her mom gonna come get her? I'm tired," and I'm like, "Oh no, I'm the mom."
That's
like
right.
that was like a reality. Like I just had to like keep accepting, because I was like, "No, come, I'm tired. I need a break. Time out." Like,
yes,
return to sender.
yes, and that is not possible.
Right.
You
like
cannot...
she's mine forever. So
she's yours. She is yours, but that brings us to the issue of needing a tribe.
yes.
And so I always encourage my new mothers and even mothers with teenagers. It's good to have people around you that you feel good about. They don't even just have to be, they don't have to only be family members. It can be close friends, someone that you trust, especially if you have a teenager, on giving good advice that you would give.
Right.
But as far as your small ones, someone who has patience, someone who has energy, and someone who doesn't get frazzled, and that's okay. Because I want to say that to you. It's okay to get frazzled. We all get upset at times. We all get overwhelmed because there's other things. Listen, there are other things going on in life too. Sometimes we're not just dealing with the children. We're dealing with circumstances. We're dealing with our jobs and everything. So I want to ask you this. How do you manage then with working now? Because the babies have gotten a little older. And with the pandemic, it's changed a whole lifestyle of babysitting, of daycare.
Yes.
What have you experienced?
Okay, so now I work remote. My oldest is old enough to attend school, but my 1-year-old, she is not in daycare yet. So because I work from home, I have to take care of her, and it's like sometimes to the point where it's like you have to put a pacifier in her mouth because you're trying to get work done, and she's like frazzled or just trying to talk, and you're trying to call people and things. That's what my job does. So it's like sometimes it's overwhelming, working and being a full-time mom. Like,
yes.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yes. And do you ever get uncomfortable asking for help?
Yes, I do. Oftentimes I don't want to feel like I'm a burden on people because, like you said, they're my kids. So I'm like, I'm not going to ask for help because they're not anybody else's responsibility but mine. So,
and that's where your village comes in, honey. you have to know that the village loves your children too. And sometimes we, even as grandparents or parents, don't know how to jump in and help without someone asking, because we're going and going many times. But other times, you just have to be able to say, hey, can you keep them this weekend? What, let's work that out. Let's make that happen, right?
Right.
Or can I have someone come over even while you're working
Right.
and be with your child for even if it's 2 hours, just to get a break?
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea.
So we often look at it as the big picture only,
Right.
but there are pieces that we can do. And this has changed a lot of things. This has changed the way we parent. This has changed the way we do work.
Right.
This has changed so much. And so your mind health is important, because, baby, if your mind is not feeling safe and comfortable, you can't give the love you need to your babies either.
Right.
So don't feel guilty about asking for help. Don't feel guilty if you just need to step outside for 10 minutes.
Right.
If your babies, and they are, I'm just going to say one of them, is anything like you were, this child right here, I couldn't even go to the bathroom by myself. She would be knocking on the door. So what I'm saying is, there are times that we have to step away and know that they're safe. Never leave the baby alone.
Right.
But what I'm getting at is, if you're in the room with your child, you see she's fine. You give her what she needs, you cuddle her, but then also they learn how to play on their own as well.
And that's another thing I wanted to talk about was like separation anxiety.
Okay.
So like with my youngest, because of COVID, she's been with me like 24/7, like up under me, like in the hospital. No one was allowed. They kept me over, so it was just me and her bonding. Then when we got home, everything was shut down, so it was just me and her in the house. And now, like that she's older, I'm trying to get her like more independent, like and depend on other people, not just me. It's like if it's not coming from me, she's like devastated, like it's the end of the world, like and I don't know how to implement where it's okay, you can get what you need from other people.
Well, part of that, love, is being able to have your baby away from you for a couple of hours at a time.
Okay.
It doesn't need to be all day right away. It's just a couple of hours. See, before COVID and before we were just with the babies all day only, right? You would go to work, some working mothers, and some are home mothers, and that's fine too. But even if you're an at-home mother, I want to say this. Even if you're an at-home mother, you need to take time for yourself. That's vital as well. And so what I would do with that, honey, is separate the baby sometimes. That means let us keep her more. Or, like I said, have a babysitter over where you just go out. You might want to do a dinner. You might just want to go out. Yeah, go ahead.
What is it when you go out, like you guys watch her, or I get someone to watch her? Why do I feel guilty? Like I can't even enjoy myself because I'm like, I'm not being a good mother because I'm not there with my kids.
Well, part of that is that thinking process. That's that self-guilt that can come on us, where we've been taught what a good mother or a good father is. Okay? So some of that, remember I said write the list down?
Yes.
Of those good qualities you remembered of your parents and the ones that weren't so good of us. You need to be able to write that down and say, I'm not a bad mother or a bad father because I let my children be with someone I trust. That's not abandonment. You're not abandoning your child. So you must change your thinking process. Why? Because, honey, you might as well have not gone. You go out trying to enjoy yourself and you're thinking about the child the whole time. You're not enjoying yourself.
Or like if I go out, I feel like I have to buy them stuff to make up for me not being there, like presents and gifts and things. Like whenever I go out, it could be like to a club. I'm like, okay, I gotta stop at a gas station and get my baby's favorite candy when I get back. Like, what is that?
It's still believing you're not a good mother unless you're giving and giving of certain things.
Okay.
Get those thoughts out of your mind. They may come at you at first because, listen, all thoughts take practice. When we're practicing thinking, we've learned old ways of thinking. We've got to replace them with new thoughts. So it's going to come automatic.
But learn to replace it.
Learn to replace it, and I mean quickly.
Okay.
So the thought is going to come to you. I'm neglecting my baby. I'm out here enjoying myself and my babies. You're not neglecting your baby. She's with her grandparents or she's with someone you trust. And most of the time, the babies are having a good time.
Right.
That's true. The babies are having fun. So I want to encourage all of you parents out there. I want to encourage you all to take time for self-care. You are a better person when you are relaxed. Let me tell you what happens if you're under your child 24/7 and you're not getting breaks. I find that you get quick-tempered, meaning you get snappy. You're ready to, every little thing is a problem. You're nitpicking.
Like, it's like overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. And when that begins to happen, the child is not the problem. That means us, we, the parent, we become the problem. That means we haven't taken time, baby, to be an adult. Listen, it is hard to be around children all day in the sense of you don't even have adult interaction sometimes.
Right.
And I even encourage that with working mothers and mothers who are at home. You need some peer time. You need time to be with your peers. You need time to laugh. And if you're going to talk about the children, let it be 5 minutes. Okay? Don't talk about the children for the whole 5 hours you're out.
Right.
Let it be just a moment of maybe updating, getting, hey, how is your baby doing? How is this happening? And all of that, okay?
Okay.
So that is where that mind health and healing comes in, even with parenting. Meditation is important. So what does that look like? We're going to get into that right now.
Okay.
Solutions. If you have your pens, if you have your paper, if you have your tablets, if you have your phone, get ready. Here we go. We're going to talk about solutions now because we look at solutions. Okay. Number one, trust your tribe. You need a tribe, honey.
Okay.
Your tribe does not have to be 1,000 people. I would not recommend that. Your tribe can be small, but it's an exchange of being able to say, hey, and this helps a lot too. I'll keep your children today. Can you keep mine next week? We can even exchange, right? Your tribe is also girlfriends, close friends that you've been around and you know you're not going to overwhelm them. They're not going to have your baby all day and night. It's just a fact of getting breaks, okay? The second thing is routine. Audience, you need routines. When we're in this pandemic or in any situation, your children need to have a bedtime. And if you can, stop going to bed with them at the same time. In other words, put them to bed even 30 minutes earlier than you go to bed, honey.
These are good tips.
I'm hoping it helps you. But put them to bed early. Why do you think I'm saying that?
I guess like so you can have like me time.
Yes.
Because like I wait last minute to get them to bed, and I'm sleep with them, and then when I wake up, I'm with them, and I'm just with them all the time.
Exactly. Get them to bed early so that you can read, you can relax, you can light your candles. You love candles.
Yes.
So you can light your candles, you can enjoy yourself. And when you get up, you're not as stressed. And even if possible, get up a little before they do. Why? Because you can get things ready instead of trying to get yourself dressed, the kids dressed. hurrying them out the door.
Right.
It's a routine. Now, on the weekends, you can switch up. It doesn't have to be as rigid. But the more routine you have at home, the less stress you're going to have on your body.
Right.
The less stress you're going to have on your mind.
Okay, one thing of advice that you guys gave me that I regret not listening to was co-sleeping.
You see my eyes? Okay, I'm being
You
nice.
guys been telling me, like, don't be sleeping with that baby 24/7. Like, it's nice to cuddle here and there, but don't let her sleep in the same bed with you. And I did not listen. And it took me 5 years to break her. 5 years.
I'm ashamed to even, but I love you. The reason is a child must learn how to do some comfort for themselves. And that's also how they practice knowing that mommy or daddy is near me, but I'm going to be okay. I don't have to be under them. I don't have to be right there. Yes, and it messed up your rest.
Yes.
It messed up your rest. So I do advise they have their own space.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you want to get a monitor for their room, their bedroom, you know.
I have that.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Is that
And
working better?
That helps me personally
Okay.
with my anxiety, because I do, like, sometimes fear that if they're not right there in my presence, within my reach, something's going to happen to them. So I did get a baby monitor, and that helps me, like, relax that, okay, I'm still watching them, even though I'm not watching them.
Okay, I love that. That's perfect. Let's talk about that anxiety you've been getting
Okay.
and where sometimes that root is. So one of the root problems of the anxiety that I'm hearing, honey, is that first of all, you want to be a perfect parent. No such thing. Just get it out of your mind. Let it go. Let it go. That is impossible. Okay? I would recommend, though, talking to other parents. It doesn't just have to come from your mother and father. Talk to other people who have children. Even find out what works for them. Because different things work for different people. That anxiety also can come from fear, and we have to be real about situations that have happened in this world that we hear about, and sometimes that have happened to us personally. So we get afraid that something is going to take place with our children.
Yes.
But listen, all we can do is control what we can control. We have no control over everything. That's not feasible. What we do with that control is decide, this is what I can handle. This is how I'm going to set the atmosphere for my babies. We can pray, honey. We can ask for guidance. But at the end of the day, we don't have control over many, many things. And we have to let that go. If we don't, we're going to be anxious all the time.
Oh, yes.
You're trying to control the future. I can't even tell you what's going to happen 2 minutes from now. I can only take care of this minute, this moment. So what do I mean by that? Make sure things are unplugged. Make sure items are put up age appropriate, right? Also make sure of what kids are watching.
Yeah.
Listen, we have to be careful of what our children are watching on all of these items, on all of these social media platforms. And I social media is great. It's a great platform, but it's not always good for our babies. So we have to be careful of what they're watching, because children mimic before they even talk. Children copy things we do before they even talk. Before the age 5, children have already gathered up all of the information. They have soaked it up, even on how they're going to react when they get angry. You know, children know how to act out when they get mad.
Yes.
Where do you think they're learning some of that? It's from us and YouTube. Yes, it's from us as well. We have to parent and show an example even of how to handle anger. We have to show an example of how to handle things when we don't get our way. Children have to see how that is done. So it's practice. The biggest thing I can give you right now, honey, is know that practice does not make perfect with parenting.
Okay.
Practice makes best that I can do right now,
Okay.
and I will learn better.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
I can always learn better. The next part of advice I want to give you in solution: learn your individual children. Every child acts different.
True.
Every different situation may affect one child. One child may not, could care less. The other child is just devastated by one thing.
Mhm.
So I advise you, honey, to learn each child. Don't say because this worked for the oldest, it's going to work for the youngest. That doesn't always happen. And it takes patience with that, because we automatically want to treat, we don't mean to, we want to treat both of them the same many times.
Right.
No, take your time with each of your children. Take time apart if you can. If you have multiple children, even if it's 20 minutes, take time with your children that is separate from the other children.
Okay.
That's important.
All right. Thank
Okay?
you.
Yeah,
Yes.
no problem. I appreciate it. Yeah, I know you're doing your best, love.
Oh, thanks, Mom.
Yeah, you're doing your best. And I know you're doing your best out there as well. I want to thank you for joining us today. I am a mother of two, and I have beautiful grandbabies, not only two grandchildren, but more grandchildren. And I am blessed by my godchildren and the way they've been raised as well. But listen, we all have our own parenting styles. And so I encourage you, just be patient with yourself and remember, mind health matters.